In this video, I will be talking about the only Tubi original movies worth watching. I really hope y'all appreciate my blood, sweat, tears, and years off of my life trying to get you this list. Because after watching a ton of Tubi original movies, I really feel like I survived the war zone. Like, I got PTSD, my nerves is shot, my stress is up, the shoddy direction, horrid acting, gutter trash effects. I barely made it out alive, okay? But amongst the refuge and trash that I struggled through, there were a few gems. And I will say, Tubi originals get an A for true diversity. I saw black-led action movies, horror movies, thriller movies with plots and storylines that had nothing to do with racism or general tropes and stereotypes. There will be no spoilers in this video, and I will be rating all of the movies on a 5-star scale. But let's get right into it, and this list is in no particular order. If I had an even number, like 10 movies, I would have ranked them. That was my original plan. But since I ended up with like 8 movies, this will be in no particular order. I mean, it just seems really odd to rank 8 movies. Cinnamon from 2023, listed as crime thriller. After a robbery gone wrong, 2 young lovers are caught in a deadly series of events that threaten to destroy their dream for a better life. I really love the vibe of this movie. It is very blaxploitation, Quentin Tarantino wannabe, and I mean that as a compliment. The soundtrack is great. I really liked how it was shot. The movie has a very intimate feel. We have Damon Wayans, who is great. We have Pam Grier here, as well as Haley Kilgore, mostly known for playing Jukebox on Raising Kanan. All of the acting was pretty top tier for me. Even like just the little side players, I thought everyone did great. I actually really enjoyed the ensemble cast, minus the pizza lady. That character was just way too much. And the comedy with that character just did not hit for me. Very unnecessary. This was a really good story with the worst Bonnie and Clyde crime duo ever. My only real complaint with Cinnamon is I wish the filmmakers took more risks with the story. It is pretty damn predictable. There's a moment like right before the 3rd act where I literally mapped out the entire ending sequence and I called it beat for beat. But the performances are really fun and all the other aspects are enjoyable, that I don't feel the predictability kills the enjoyment of the movie. It just would have been nice to would have bumped it up a notch. You know, like if we had a few twists and turns and some real risks were taken, because the fact that the stakes never really feel real, they don't really feel dire, it hurts a story like this. You know who will live and who will die, and that's never really any fun with a crime story. I will say I think that Haley Kilgore is such a mother freaking star, such a tremendous talent, and I really want to see her in more lead roles. I want to see her in a horror movie maybe. It was such a breath of fresh air seeing Damon Wayans. He's such a talent, still got it, such an icon, and baby, look, I just really enjoy his character. Like, what he put on for this, I don't want to say too much, but it's like that 70s feel. I will say, for my personal taste, Cinnamon starts off pretty slow because they start off building the love story. I'm not much of a fan for romance movies or romance stories, but if you are, then you might enjoy the first act slightly more than I did. And there were also some stylistic choices that I didn't care for. For example, Pam Grier's character is deaf, right? And she does this thing with her shades where she like signals to her son a few times. It's not smooth or cool. It's just really lame and ridiculous, honestly. I feel like there's a market for this type of movie. Like, I miss movies like this with that 70s blaxploitation style crime story, like a Jackie Brown, which I love and also starred Pam Grier. I give Cinnamon a 4 out of 5 stars. It really is such a shame this movie didn't get more recognition. The Vigilante from 2023, listed as action thriller when a Marine returns home from deployment overseas, she goes to war against human traffickers who have kidnapped her 13-year-old sister. Now, for me, the subject matter was a lot. Dealing with sex trafficking and dealing with kids, and I cried a few times, child. Like, I didn't like straight up like cry, but I dropped the thug tip, okay? But that's because I'm really sensitive to the content. Maybe you're not, so you'll have a different experience. But honestly, it's not bad as far as what they actually show. There is nothing graphic at all. It's all pretty much insinuated. You don't see anything actually happen to the kids, but we know what happens to them. You know what I mean? Outside of the subject matter being horrific, this was really solid. The Vigilante didn't feel as shanky and cheap with the production. As I think most people would associate Tubi originals with. I mean, there was some stuff shot in a really over dramatic way, which felt a bit cheesy, but the hand-to-hand combat and action was really solid and enjoyable. They throw in a little something at the end to try and make it not flow in such a predictable way with how it ends, but it honestly felt a little forced and unnecessary. It's just like a really dramatic moment that happens right when we get to that third act. And I typically don't like a ending that's just like tied up with the bow, but that type of ending fits here because I mean, it's a story about a woman trying to rescue her little sister from traffickers. Can I talk today? This is a story about a woman trying to rescue her little sister from traffickers. So you want it to be a happy ending wrapped up with a bow. So that type of ending is fine. So some of the choices with the ending are easily forgivable for me in its predictability because you want a happy ending. My biggest issue with this movie was the lead character. She was extremely unlikable for me and got on my damn nerves the entire movie. I'm gonna be honest. I felt like with the writing for her character, it was just a bit too much. They was trying to lay it on real thick with the type of character she was. This is definitely a story where you know what's going to happen and how it's going to end, but the villains are entertaining, though generic. The acting is not the best, but solid. And I did find the hand-to-hand combat and certain moments of action to be sufficiently entertaining. I mean, look, don't go into this expecting it to be on the level of like Netflix's Extraction, but it's a solid action thriller movie and I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Little Bone Lodge, or The Last Exit from 2023, listed as crime thriller horror. During a vicious storm, two criminal brothers on the run seek refuge in a desolate farmhouse. Taking the resident family captive, they find the household's dark secrets of its own. I really enjoyed this one. Really great acting here, and the performances and characters really carried this for me. I mean, you're in one location. Everything goes down at this farmhouse, and unlike the previous movie, I thought this one had some nice twists and surprises. The Last Exit is a lot more engrossing and interesting than it has any right to be, being on Tubi Child. I would definitely consider this one a sleeper hit. I feel like people need to get on this one. I really need everyone to go watch The Last Exit. Like, I don't know, I was like, y'all, I'm hyped about this one. I don't want to hype it up too much though. I don't want to be one of those like hyping it up too much. But it isn't just good for a Tubi movie. It's a legit good movie. We got a cool bad guy character, an unsuspecting sinister turn of events. It's a bit reminiscent of From Dusk Till Dawn, only in the sense of the dynamics of the brothers and starting off feeling like you're the bad guy, but you run into something worse than yourself. I feel like this is how you do a solid, low budget, one location movie. 4 out of 5 stars for Little Bone Lodge / The Last Exit. Which The Last Exit is such a generic title. I don't know why they didn't just stick with Little Bone Lodge. Play Dead from 2023, listed as slasher horror thriller. Chloe fakes her own death to steal evidence from a morgue. A scary game of cat and mouse ensues as Chloe learns more about the dead than she bargained for. We got Jerry O'Connell in this one, as well as the teen daughter from Strangers Pray at Night that I couldn't stand in that movie, but she is a lot more likable here. Jerry O'Connell plays an effective villain here with a performance that was a little stiff for me, but still good. But this was another really good trapped in one location movie. Y'all already know. If you're familiar with this channel, my weakness is a trapped and fighting for your life scenario. I love it. I don't know. It's something about, like, I don't ever want to be in that situation. So, that's always really good. A little claustrophobic, nowhere to go. I was shocked at how well this movie did suspense. The effects are solid with the dead bodies and gore. You might have to suspend a lot of belief. A lot of belief. Okay, you've been warned, but Play Dead is a good time all around, and it easily holds your attention from beginning to end. Not like the exact beginning of the movie, but the beginning of being at the morgue when that whole plot pops off. Pre-morgue, it is a pretty rough watch, I'll be honest. 4 out of 5 stars for Play Dead. Captive from 2023, listed as horror. A group of stoners break into a house for a weekend party and discover a mysterious stranger being held captive in the basement. Now, this is a movie that I would consider so bad it's good, okay? Be warned, this feels like a really shanky, low-budget, terribly written movie with even worse acting. But y'all, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I was really entertained. I mean, it's the dumbest, most uninspiring characters. They throw in a few fun twists that make it, hype, make it a little fun. Now I ain't saying they good twists, but they're fun twists. This is a vampire movie with the least scariest vampires I've ever seen in my life. Even though I've never watched Twilight, so I don't know how that compares. I feel like they were going for campy, but it just comes off as cheesy. But again, in a fun way. So bad it's good. Entertaining way to kill time. 3 out of 5 for Captive, because even though it's a bad movie, it was highly entertaining. Low Lights from 2024, listed as slasher horror. A family on a road trip are put to the test when they have no other choice but to stay the night at a remote homestead. I think that Tubi originals are getting better as time goes on. As you see so far, everything on the list, nothing is older than 2023. Them cuts was rough before that year. Low Lives is one of their more recent releases, and I'll be damned. It's a good freaking movie. Go into this one as blind as possible. Y'all know, I feel like you should go into all movies pretty blind. But this one in particular, I was really surprised. This movie does suspense and red herrings really well. You get some genuine surprises and twists. The setup is really good. Like, you're really thinking it's one thing. Damn, but I think maybe saying it's a twist is kind of a spoiler. But look, the ending is quite predictable, but the ride to get there isn't. Solid acting, some good gore, a well-written story. I need Tubi to stay in this lane and evolve from here. I would actually really like a prequel to this one. Low Lives is more original than I would expect of a Tubi original, and it's rare to find an original slasher these days. Now, it's not Scream or The Faculty, okay, calm down. It's not groundbreaking, but it is definitely a must-see, and one of my favorites of this year so far. This is bloody, entertaining, good comedy elements, and a breath of fresh air among the usual Tubi original fodder and amongst the usual movie fodder in general. 4 out of 5 stars for Low Lives. This Never Happened from 2024, listed as horror thriller. While staying at her boyfriend's childhood home with him and his friends, a young woman experiences terrifying visions of a violent spirit. Now, this it moves at a slower pace than I like, but I was hanging in there because I was intrigued with what actually happened and was really going on. The characters are nothing special, but they're fine enough. The acting isn't great, but it's not bad. You do spend a good chunk of time waiting for the real stuff to pop off, and once it does, it doesn't make the most sense. I ended this one with quite a few questions, but the movie was solid and I did enjoy it. Now, I will say, once we get to the monster reveal, it takes a turn. It ends up getting a little comedic. The monster effects and stuff are not good. That hurts it a lot for me. And y'all know I am not one to be nitpicky on effects, but if I picking on it, I mean it's bad. If the monster reveal looked better, it could have bumped this one up a bit. This Never Happened is more so the best of the worst and not exactly just a good movie on its own standing, but I do think it's worth the watch. My attention waved in and out at the beginning, but I did honestly enjoy this. But if you don't like cheap jump scares, this will not be for you. And I like jump scares in general. I feel like they are part of the bells and whistles of horror. So bad jump scares, cheap jump scares, it doesn't bother me. 3 out of 5 stars for This Never Happened. Invasive from 2024, listed as horror. A young woman secretly residing in a billionaire's lavish mansion stumbles onto dark secrets, sparking a desperate fight for survival. There is nothing. Y'all, what is it? There is nothing I love more than what? An isolated location and a fight for survival. And this one did not disappoint. The final girl was nothing special but likable and solid. She does some kind of dumb stuff, but it's not hard to root for her. And the dumb stuff honestly is more things that happen that feel contrived by the writer, and not really reason enough to like be annoyed with the character. Not the typical like horror movie character doing dumb stuff. The villain is the spark here though. Really great, charming, charismatic, like psychopath character. Entertaining from top to bottom with some fun twists along the way. Invasive is one of those movies you know nothing about and go into with extremely low expectations, or I did. So when you don't hate it, you maybe like it more than you should. I don't know, cause I saw this one like I was really expecting just gutter trash from Tubi, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I think this has good rewatch value, good performances. They utilize their budget well, and if I remember correctly, they have some cool gore and body horror once we get into the meat of the story and some twists are revealed. There's a good mystery here. You know the bad guy is a bad guy off rip, but you don't know what his secret is. You don't know what he's doing exactly. So that adds a little fun to it as everything unfolds. There are moments that get a little ridiculous, but since it's entertaining, it's very easy to forgive those missteps. And again, I think they did well with the suspenseful moments. If you like a minimal cast, fight for survival, cat and mouse type of thriller, you have to add this one to your list. 3.5 out of 5 for Invasive. I have high hopes for 2025 Tubi original releases. I'm gonna be all the way honest. I'm hyped for whatever we end up getting. I think it's only up from here because they are seeming to be putting, you know, some money behind these productions and some real creativity. Tubi originals are no longer a joke. Okay, some of them are still quite a joke, but I think they're moving away from that reputation. Let me know in the comments which titles you plan on checking out or which ones you have already seen, and let me know your thoughts on those movies. I will also be reviewing 1 or 2 of these titles for members only. It just depends. Let me know in the comments which one of these you would like to hear my full thoughts on. And depending on what everyone wants, maybe I'll do 1, maybe I'll do 2. So just let me know in the comments and I will break the movie down with a full spoiler discussion. I will also be doing a members only live watch along for the new Bad Boys movies. Why did I say movies? It comes to streaming on July 23rd. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be my first time watching it. I have not seen Bad Boys yet. I also finally got to see The Watchers, and if you are interested in my thoughts on that, the video will be up right after this video. We will also be continuing Horror Saturdays with Killer Con, having killer conversation. And this Saturday, we will be taking Tales from the Crypt Demon Night and really just breaking down the iconic movie that I love so much. And I also have my video for 20 best comedies of all time coming. Child, look, if you are enjoying the content, because it's a lot coming, it's a lot already been up, we got a lot that's coming up. So if you're enjoying the content, don't just roll up for a good time and not support, okay? Make sure you are subscribed and hit, like on the video, leave a comment down below, which are all free ways to support the channel. And if you want to go beyond and support the content, a super chat or super thanks is always appreciated, as well as a channel membership. It takes a lot to fund the content, y'all, and all support is appreciated. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.